Well, okay, we talked a little bit about it on Sunday. America's birthday.
Yes.
So cool. 250 years. I was just, telling you, our family, we did not really do much. We were going to go do fireworks, but then it rained. And so, but I watched the videos of the fireworks in Washington. That was cool. Did you see any of that?
Yep, sure. Yeah,
Those were huge.
My wife loves fireworks, and it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah?
matter. She loves them, so we'll switch from channel to channel and watch the Macy's fireworks in New York City, and then they had on one channel, they went around the United States showing different places that had the fireworks going.
Cool.
So, and then we have our own fireworks at our house.
Oh, did you?
Because we had our whole family here for the week, and
Yeah.
all of our kids and grandkids, and so we always buy the fireworks. And now my kids are getting old enough that they don't think like $400, $500 worth of fireworks is enough.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
we're probably around $1,000 worth of fireworks shooting off on Wednesday night because they had to leave early to go back home. But we have a great time, and they're the big boomers. It's great. They're a lot of fun.
So do you guys always do that for 4th of July? Okay, so is that just the time where everybody gets together and that's I didn't know that about Judy. That's so that she loves fireworks.
She loves parades and fireworks.
Yeah, that's
and
sweet.
some of the parades in Grand Ledge are guys have garbage trucks with the mesh lighting on it.
Oh yes,
The local the weed whacker guys or whatever, and I go, Judy.
Yeah, right.
It's like a garbage truck with lights on it, and to her, it's magic.
Hey, yeah, I love it. I mean,
Parades are magic.
Yeah, I like it. I think my mom told me, I'm the oldest of 4 girls, and she goes, you don't have a lot of money. What's a fun thing to do? Parades. She goes, we would drive around to hit all the parades because that's free fun. It's just free entertainment. You're watching whatever. But yeah, so we're still summertime, so we're continuing our Moses series. Yeah. Do you want to do just like a quick recap? This one was about learning to trust, right? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a little difficult when you're trying to do thematically going through the book of Exodus. For example, I covered 4 chapters yesterday.
Yeah.
And so, how do you do that in a way that makes sense? And really, it's basically Israel and Moses learning to trust. And learning how to trust, and despite all the griping and complaining that you do, or doubting, or even Moses, like, where are you, God? I got all these guys on my case; they're ready to stone me. Why aren't you showing up? And so I think on their journey, we can really identify, because our journey. Even though it's not like a desert-like experience, but we've had those desert-like experiences through our lives, and wondering what God is going to do. Is He going to show up? One of my favorite quotes is the quote that I came across, that if we can figure out what's going on, God's not in it.
Yeah.
And I came across that years ago, and that's really made a lot of sense to me. That if we can figure it out, well, God is not in it, because God has the long view.
Yep.
And also a character view, a life view, where we have maybe an immediacy about us. So.
No, I loved that quote. Like, that is one of the ones that stuck with me so well, because if you can explain what's going on, chances are God's not doing it.
That's right.
Because I know I've said it on here before, but when my husband and I, when we lost our son, it was that exact where we thought we were doing everything right. We thought, oh, this is working out so perfect, because we had a set of sibling foster kids with us. I was pregnant, and then we found out they were getting to go home. It's like all these things were lining up so perfectly, and we're like, man, God, that is just so cool that you work like that. And then it's like, and then we lost him, and we were like, wait. Yes. We thought we knew what was going on. We thought we were doing everything right. We thought that this was just, our plans were working great, and then it's like a huge bomb went off. And it was the same thing actually when I found out I was pregnant for our daughter. I was on the Kenya trip, not this last one, but the one before. Sure. And I just remember thinking, like, be really cool if I found out I was pregnant in Kenya, because I'm being obedient, God, right? You told me to go to Kenya, and I'm a little nervous to go by myself.
Here we are,
this would be so cool. And then it didn't happen, and I was just like, what the heck? Like, you know what I mean? And the way that things worked out was even better than I could have imagined. And so it's just so funny because we do think we know.
Right.
And God does do great things. Yeah. Like, and it is great. But just when I think I know what's going on, nah, it's wrong. It's
that's
wrong.
Absolutely right.
Well, somebody said too, we had one person comment in the question portion, but they said they liked your major pain joke. So they said more of that. And that was funny.
It was just sometimes when I've made movie references,
you're like, oh.
Years ago, it was dumb of me. I made a quote about Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah.
And I said, what a great movie to teach you about this, that, and the other.
Sure.
Well, the next Sunday, a grandma came up to me, so I took my grandson to see that movie. And I went, oh. There's a lot of not good things.
Yeah, it's like, well, I didn't tell you to do that.
But she was really mad, and I went, I need to have a qualifying statement.
Right.
Have a little. Don't go. I'm not recommending this movie.
Right.
I'm just quoting this section of
Don't take any grandchildren to this movie. Oh man.
So, yeah, there's so many. In fact, I was talking to Jake afterward about it. I said, after the first service's reaction, it was kind of like, but I said, and I asked Jake, and Jake said he had to leave because his kids, but he said it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah,
I quote it all the time.
Yep. Yeah, no, you have a like-minded man there, so you're good. I saw people in front of me were laughing; they thought it was funny too. But so I guess just a question that I've been thinking of is like, do you have a time in your life where either you thought you knew God's plan, or you thought, kind of like me, like this is all working out so great, or where you felt like, I don't know, maybe God just wasn't even listening to you, and you were just like,
oh yeah, there's been many instances I felt like that especially been in situations where I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'm preaching July 26th, and it's about when Moses is on Mount Nebo, and he's dying, and he looks back. He looks back about his experience, and that's the same thing with me. That in the instance, I just say, really, God, where are you? Or why am I here? Why am I doing this when I'd rather be doing that? And then when you look back on it, you understand. Mm-hmm. You see, okay, now I know what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you were positioning me here to move here to do this. And none of this would have happened had I not been through that. Mm-hmm. And so I'll be talking a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
Kind of like a teaser for the 26th of.
Yeah.
So, but that's really, in my life, there's many instances where I felt that, I think God was humbling me because I had a real high estimation of my abilities. And I thought God was wasting this incredibly talented person, and then God humbles you. And then you have failures, and you mess up. And then all of a sudden you go, okay. And the other thing that's remarkable is that God saves you so many times from doing stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. And you don't really know that, or even he saves you from some of the consequences of your stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. And afterward, you look back on it, you just are like, holy cow.
Yeah.
God was so good to me there, because things could have gone a whole nother way.
Oh yeah.
And when I see other people's lives that weren't blessed that way, and for whatever reason, I'm really grateful to God for humbling me, because that's one thing as far as my life is concerned. Is it's been one long journey of becoming more humble, not because it's in my nature to be humble, but it's because God keeps hitting me upside the head with a 2x4 and telling me you're not all that.
Right.
You're gifted, just like everybody's gifted to do certain things, And then where I'm going to be successful is when I'm obedient to what he wants me to do.
Yep.
So that's life's teaching me.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Well, and like that's part of it too, is when you know, and that's what you're working on, like you're self-aware, you're like, no, I know I have this problem.
Oh,
and
that's
this
right.
is where like my flesh is pulling me, or like this is like I can feel the tug to do what I want, or
right.
to just be like, nah, I got this, instead of actually trusting God.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely right.
And I think too that I've been saying it every podcast. People are probably getting so sick of it. But I think of when I first learned this story, Moses' whole life story. Yeah. And when I would think, these people, they're so how could you be getting these like miracles after and you just don't like
don't get it.
And you don't. So I like to think that was when I finally matured in my faith a little extra step is to be like, oh, that's you.
That's
like
it. That is
you
exactly.
are like that. And that's why
that's
why it's in there, is for people like you who, and like granted, I was a kid, so like you just don't see those things when you're a kid. But finally I was like, oh no, that's me. I've had my life is just a picture of blessings upon blessings. Yeah. And then still sometimes if I don't get my way,
that's right.
I'm like, oh God, you don't love me.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Or that you're not there for me.
Right.
Yeah. You're not there for me. And that's that if I had my choice and the direction my life would have gone, things in my mind, things would have been a lot different. But when I look back on my life, it's so weird. Even when I don't think I'm really accomplishing my first church, I was stuck 5 miles from the nearest town. I'm a city kid.
Oh,
I'm in the country. I am bored out of my mind. Wondering what am I doing here? And again, my arrogance when I was younger.
Yeah.
You know, a guy like me, talented guy like this, and here I am, and I have a buddy that's just taking no prisoners and being successful, and here I am stuck here. And here I am now in my 70s, and I was 23 to 27 years old when I was at that church as a senior pastor of a church of 150. That's so ignorant, so arrogant, but so ignorant. They still call me back to do their funerals. I left there in 1977, and they still call me back to do their funerals. So I made a connection with the people.
Yeah.
And they were still, and they hated the fact that I left. So I go, okay, God, you had something in mind that I was touching lives.
Yeah.
Or I get a letter. When I was at the next church in the small town, I get a letter from a guy in Florida he was a business guy on his way up the ladder, and he was in Toledo, which is like a stepping stone to move some other places. He's there for 1 year, but he and his wife were going through some real horrible times. And but unbeknownst to me, through my preaching and teaching, he was in a Bible school class I taught, and then also in the worship service. It just brought them closer together and recharged their faith. And he wrote me a letter 15 years later. That's when we used to write letters. Yeah. He wrote the letter just saying the difference my ministry made in his life when I thought I was just kind of wasting my time. But God was using me even in my arrogance and my ignorance.
Oh, yeah.
And usually those two things go together.
Well, and that's the thing is I wish there was a tip, a trick, a hack, something to notice those things earlier. So instead of, hindsight 2020, how can I focus on trusting him in the moment rather than, looking back and saying, why, it was going to work out. Why was I being like that? That's something
that's the other thing that's a good point, because we worry and stew about so many things that God's got this.
Yep.
God's got this.
He tells us not to worry. It's written down there pretty plainly, and we have a clear direction. I know. And here we are, still doing it.
We're still doing it.
No, but one thing I was thinking of too is when I was younger, grew up going to church. I loved it, and I remember going into like public schools where you're mixed with people where I'm like, I would just say hilarious things that my teachers would like tell my mom, like, you got to talk to her because like like I would bring in like my Bible books and ask people, I'm like, you don't know what this is? Like, you've never heard the story of like Noah? Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Or Jonah? Like, wow. Okay. And so like I would talk to him. And then I had this one friend who her older sister had a baby and then got married. And I was like, that can't be right. Yeah. That's not how that works. I was in, I think like third, fourth grade or something. And I was looking at her like, that's impossible. Right. Like that just, you can't do, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And so it was so funny because I was just that kid, kind of naive, just like living in my own bubble, whatever. And the older I'd get like made fun of, or like I was the churchy one, you know, like we're not going to tell you this because we already know what you think about it. Like even at like a young age, like they knew. And when I was younger, I hated it. Yeah. I hated that I was getting excluded because of that. I was like, I hate being the churchy one because people don't, whatever. And so then I always was like that. And then finally I was like, I'm so thankful that was me, and that I like, good job, younger Sylvia. Like, and thank goodness that your parents, you know, my parents put such a good seed in me to be able to, you know, kind of like just stick it out and everything. Right. But it's funny because when you're younger, you just don't know any better.
But I bet you those same kids that when they were young and made fun of you, when they got older, they saw that you had something they did not.
I have had people, like, I remember I've had people tell me, like, you're just always been so happy. And I was like, really? Like, oh, okay. Like, that was one thing somebody remembered. And then other people now have, like, I've had people, like, during college or reach out. And if they're looking for their, like, searching for faith.
I know that's happened in my life.
Yes.
That's the same, kind of my story till I was in high school. I remember there was a girl I dated early on, and then we're at it was a senior year, and it was at a party, and I was the designated driver. I was my class president, and I was class president all 4 years of high school. But I never, I go to parties, but I never drank. So I'd be designated driver. Well, I was driving a whole carload of people home, and she was the last one. And she just said, you've always been a puzzle to me. I said, why is that? I said, why do you feel you don't need to do any of this? I said, because it's not me. Yeah. And I said, it doesn't honor God, and it's not me. And she really, she was kind of stewed. And she goes, and then she started crying a little bit, and she goes, I've never known that. And so I think what happens, yes, there's some early on Bible thumpers or whatever, but there's a respect underneath there because you do have something they do not have.
Well, and too,
you're happy because there's a peace, and they're in turmoil, trying to figure out who they are, what's the meaning of all this, and all that kind of stuff.
And I think so many people can have these times where they're like, you know, maybe on the right track, walking with Jesus, and you run into that kind of roadblock. Because even towards my like end of my senior year or like high school time, I did finally. I was like, you know what, I will do whatever I want. Like, maybe I will. And then I feel, when you feel so horrible and you're like, oh, nope, not fun to be away from God.
Not fun.
That's not fun. But it's just so funny because looking back on that, right, I can see that of like, okay, I knew what it was like, and then try to do things my own way. Didn't go so well. Right. And then, but why do I still do that now? Why do I still now, like in these moments of us worrying, where we worry about things or just, oh, this isn't, like, things aren't working out in your fate, like in your way, like in how you want them, sure. But it's just funny because it's that constant back and forth. I said it once, I'll say it a million times, I say it to everybody. Becoming a parent, oh my goodness. I just understand my relationship even with God like so much more. Of like, I just look at my kids, all the kids we've had in our house, where you just love them and you can see like they're just acting out, or they just need attention. They just need, they need something, but you just love them so much, even though they're driving you crazy.
or which I'm really, I think when I think of parents today, not all parents, because I've seen like my kids do a great job with their kids, is to thinking that being a parent that lets your kid do anything they want to do is showing your love. That's not. that discipline is part of love. God disciplines us. It's part of love. If our goal as parents is to get the most out of our child's lives and have them develop, there needs to be guidelines and parameters and discipline that when there's misbehavior, there's a consequence. And God teaches that all through our life. There's a consequence to bad behavior. And the same thing with parents. So I'm glad to hear.
Oh, yeah. Well, and especially with like the foster kids who come through our house too. We just try to teach them, especially when because we never know how long they'll be with us.
Sure.
So it is a crash course in life and everything of just like, here's how we should be here's how we should be acting, all that. And so your kind of like lasting point from the message about like be Atlas or let Jesus.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I loved that picture too, because I can sometimes be like a planner, control freak, whatever.
Right, sure.
And I like to think I'm getting better about it, but just of honestly being like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
I'm not going to worry about it. Sometimes I still get frustrated in the moment
Sure.
of, not knowing maybe and wanting things to work out a certain way, but also having this huge blanket understanding of God's got this.
Yeah.
Like he's got it. Whatever happens, like it's going to be for good because that's how he works.
Sure.
And I kind of just have to be I don't know who says, I think my sister told me where, go with the flow, but she always says, be it like a dead fish, go with the flow.
Okay.
That's always what she says. I'm like, I don't know if that's like a saying that people say or what, but so that's what I'm like, okay, I just have to go with the flow or along for the ride and do my part, right? I just got to do what I got to do. But
it was as long as I understand Scripture, especially the Old Testament passage, it's about obedience. If I'm obedient, God's going to take care of it. When I'm disobedient, then it might not work out like that. But as long as I'm trying to be obedient to what He wants me to do, He's got it. Mm-hmm. He's got it for it. And I think that's the message to the Israelites too.
Yeah.
And to Moses.
And it's so funny, like I said that earlier about like, I'm just so thankful for the Israelites because at first I was like, oh man, they don't know what they're doing. Yeah. They're ridiculous. And now I'm like, wow, I have so much to learn from their mistakes. Thank you so much.
Very good.
But thanks, Larry. Thanks for sitting down and talking with us a little extra. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday.